If you search online or ask a chatbot what the most expensive tile in the world is, you're going to get the wrong answer. And I'm going to tell you why on today's episode of Life's Potluck Buffet. And I'm also going to ask the cards, speaking of tiles, how can we piece it together in our work and life? So stick around for today's episode of Life's Potluck Buffet. I'm John Paulus. Thanks for joining me. All right, let me just put this out there. The most expensive tile in the world is not Lux Touch marble tile, apparently produced by a materials firm called Pietraferma, which is not seeming, their website doesn't work anymore, so maybe they're not around anymore. If you're a representative of Pietraferma and you are around, please let me know. So Pietraferma, a long time ago, maybe 15 years ago or so, released a tile called Lux Touch fittingly, I should say, at the Monaco Yacht Show. Where else would you release your $1 million square meter tile? And this tile it's a marble tile, and it's got diamonds, lots of diamonds. So if you're thinking, well, I have tile on my floor, but I want it in diamonds, then the answer, this is for you. Oh, that would be a good music video. Oh, anyway, so it's got a thousand diamonds, 2,400 pieces of mother of pearl, 400 pieces of abalone, 500 pieces of onyx, and the price tag per square meter is $1 million per square meter. You'll find, I think that, and I that's the cost. You'll find sources in the imperial unit using world that say $1 million a square foot, but that's not seemingly accurate. It's $1 million a square meter. And you'll say to me, John, we found a tile that's worth more than $1 million a square meter. I sure have. In fact, I found a lot of tiles that are worth more than $1 million a square meter. But they all come from technically two places. And the tiles I'm talking about are from Iznik, which is in modern-day Turkey. And if you know anything about tiles, or if you've visited places in Turkey, like the Blue Mosque or Topkapi Sarai, Topkapi Palace, Sarai is the Turkish word for palace. So, or if you've visited a bunch of other places that are in modern-day Turkey that use that have Iznik tiles in them, and Iznik tiles are not floor tiles; they're actually wall tiles. So, but it doesn't really matter, the tiles. So the floors in these places are generally stone floors, and the tiles are, we were talking about patterns the other day. Well, the special thing about Iznik tiles, well, there are a lot of special things, but one special thing is that they're made to fit together to form a pattern, and sometimes very intricate patterns. And so they have the effect of that kind of, we were talking about wallpaper the other day. They have the effect of like covering a part of a wall in a like continuous pattern, even though they're individual tiles. So it's really cool. And let me show you. I've done a copy of a couple of Iznik tiles that are more valuable than Lux Touch tiles on the thumbnail, and I'll show it to you here as well. So I'll put it up on the video so you can inspect it as I talk. And these tiles were produced in the 16th century. This is the height of the production of tiles in Iznik, but also and this is why I said in a couple of other places, these style of tiles were perfected. For example, in Damascus, in Syria, and they did a special turquoise kind of colored glaze, that went on top of the tile. That was also, very special. But they're using the same kind of techniques overall, so they get considered in the same category. But these tiles, coming from the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century are more expensive than Lux Touch by a lot. So I had to do a little bit of math and a little bit of searching. But the most expensive tile that I found was an Iznik Chintamani tile, which you can see both of the tiles on the screen are Chintamani. The one that's got the blue background, that's one from Syria, but the one with the white background is the one from Iznik, and that tile, and I'll explain what Chintamani. These are Chintamani tiles. I'll explain what that means in a second. But that tile is $3,876,206.25 roughly a square meter. So that's almost 4 times the price of our Lux Touch, marble with diamonds tile. And that's just what I found. And so there may be ones that are even more expensive than that, and if you find them, let me know. We're on the hunt for what is the most expensive Iznik tile per square meter out there. So you got to do a little bit of math, but that's what I've got so far. So easily falsifiable that the most expensive tile in the world is this Lux Touch tile. If you wanted to get, first of all, there's no way you could get probably a square meter of these tiles very easily. There are probably square meters out there separately, but together they're on the walls of mosques and palaces and museums, and you can't really get them. But you realize how much the decoration of those places would cost today. It's incredible to think about. There is many, we're talking about thousands of square meters of tiles, and that is just astounding. So, as a whole, I can't even estimate the Iznik tiles just in Turkey alone, and there are a lot around the world in museums and so forth, but the Iznik tiles in Turkey alone, it could be the GDP of a small country, I think. So let's just say that let's just say Iznik tiles are the most expensive tiles in the world. Why are they so expensive? Well, there are a lot of factors behind this. They reach their height of production in only basically the 30 years, maybe. That's in the 16th century, so the 1500s. There was a time when they kind of reached what the people who pay a lot of money pay $3.8 million per square meter for them. Collectors who are buying them at an auction. That's the most desirable period for the Iznik tiles. This is considered the kind of height of Iznik tiles, and they are the ones that go for a lot are the Chintamani tiles, and Chintamani are those circle things, the 3 circles, and those are. Well, let me roll it back. Chintamani it comes from Sanskrit, and it refers to a wish fulfilling jewel. That is in both in Hindu and Buddhist practices, and these jewels are usually in the hand of a figure. So whether Hindu gods or bodhisattva, or in Tibetan Buddhism, apparently on the back of a horse is where the Chintamani is carried. These wish fulfilling jewels are very important to those traditions, and those traditions. When we talk about global influence today, we think, oh, this is a new thing, but global influence is not a globalism goes back a really, really long time because of the human beings move around. And in traditions that were decorative traditions to the east of, actually the very far away east from the Ottoman Empire, those decorative traditions with the Chintamani depicted, influenced, came into through products made in the much further east in Asia into Western Asia and actually Europe as well, coming from the porcelain making in China, for example, and that's a whole different story, and we can get into really detailed explanations about the difference between the Chinese, China, as we call it, and the Iznik tiles and how they're produced. They're very different processes, but the Iznik tiles were thought to be imitating some of those Chinese porcelains. And you can see that if you look at some of the Iznik bowls and things like that. And the influence, though, there's also influence from the West, from apparently Venetian glasswork that is involved in the clear glazes of the Iznik tiles produced in Iznik. And so there you have it. Iznik tiles, most expensive tiles in the world. You heard it here first. And let's ask the cards about how we can put the pieces together into a beautiful pattern like Iznik tiles do. All right, so yellow lemons, blue dumplings, magenta noodles. Cards, tell us some things. And here's the card for today. It's card 38. You are what you hate. So think about something that you criticize or you say you hate or despise or look down upon, and then try that job on for size. Say, I am a blank, whatever that job is that you're like, oh, I just hate that job, right? And see how you feel and what you're really saying when you say you hate it. You might actually find something that you love. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow on Life's Potluck Buffet.